Hey y'all, how are y'all doing today? I'm going to go ahead and start painting this because I've got some other things that I really need to fit into my schedule today. And I think, I'm not sure if anybody's watching this live or not. So I'm just going to go ahead and start painting it, you guys. So I have two small flat canvases. They're not the stretch canvases. They're just little because I'm running out of canvases. I need to go to the store. You could just paint this on like a normal size, like 16 by 20, a normal size rectangular canvas. You don't have to do it on two, but since that's what I advertised, I thought that I would do it on two canvases. All right, so same deal. This week I got this painting from one of my mentors. It's one of the paintings that I'm allowed to paint, and I haven't painted it yet. So I have watched part of her video. I basically know how to do this, but I just wanted to, see what she had to say about it. So I'm going to go back and forth between her video and teaching you guys. First thing, we're going to divide this into 3 sections because there's the beach and then the water and then the sunset. So I've already got my paint colors on here. I mix this with like the tiniest bit. This is the buttermilk color. I mixed it with like the tiniest bit of a peachy color, like a corally color, and it just kind of gives it some dimension. I'm using a angled brush, my favorite angled brush. And if you're using a bigger canvas, like this is a medium-sized brush, but if you're using a bigger canvas, you're going to want to use a bigger brush for these parts because you're just trying to get the board covered. So I'm just using little 8x10 canvases, so I can use this smaller brush. But if you're doing 2 canvases, then you want to, well, let's say this. If you're one person and you're doing 2 canvases, it's just easiest if you put them beside each other like this and kind of treat it like it's one canvas. If you and someone else is trying to paint this, then just watch what I do on each one and, paint them separately. But you do want to sort of get together on this part and make sure things match up, right? Or else it'll look a little weird. You need those lines to match up. And I'm going this way when I paint the paint on, like left to right or right to left, because I don't want my paint strokes to be up and down, because that's not what sand would look like, So you just want to do your paint strokes. You want to put your paint on, which is your paint strokes, in a direction that would be real, that would look more real. Added a little bit of that coral color. All right, I'm gonna wash my brush out, and now I've got a light turquoise, a dark turquoise, and a blue, like just a normal blue color. And I'm going to draw this line. Remember, we're breaking these canvases, or this canvas, into 3 sections. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in with this one color. I haven't changed brushes. I did wash it out. And if you want, you can go ahead and start mixing in that darker turquoise. While the paint's wet, it'll just kind of make marks that give it dimension, so it starts to look like waves. You know, there's lighter parts and darker parts of the ocean. So you can add it in once it's dry as well, but if you add it in while it's still wet, it will give you a different look, and we'll just add some more dimension to it to make it more realistic. It's a gloomy day out today. I'm considering going ahead and setting up my work table in our shed, which is going to be my studio. I was trying to wait until I got a window in that I wanted and a better heating and air system. But yesterday I had a Zoom call, and I don't know, I just wanted it quiet. So it was a nice day, so I just opened up the door and, let the air come in through the door, and sat out there and did my Zoom, and it was kind of nice. So I'm really thinking about going ahead and moving all this out there. Alright, so you want to take the blue and just go ahead and make you a line across the top. And you kind of want to blend it in. So while it's still wet, and I probably did a little much, make sure you keep that blue up there, but you can start blending in. Blend that line a little bit. Keep the blue edge, but blend it in. That way it looks like it's getting darker the further away it gets. Or it is getting darker the further away it gets. So you can take some of that blue and kind of mix it with the turquoise and put it in. Because different spots in the ocean, might be darker and have that blue. So yeah, that looks pretty decent. Alright. I'm gonna wash that out. So the top is going to be our sunset. So you're gonna start with a gold, and be careful if your blue's still wet. Might want to blow dry. I'm just winging it. You want that yellow down at the bottom, and then you want to move to the orange, and you can mix that. Gives it a pretty color. probably put more yellow up there than I should have, but I don't know, I just like it when it looks mixed up like that. Just remember, if you have two canvases, you want to keep that movement going across that line right there, or else it's going to look a little weird. So I don't know. I think if I go ahead and set everything up out there, then maybe it'll motivate everybody to get everything put in. Alright, so that so far it looks pretty decent, right? We've got, push it this way. We've got our sand, our water, and our sky. And I'm going to take a little bit of white and mix with this yellow. And put our sun over here. And then I'm gonna take just a teeny tiny bit of red and put it up here in the top. Alright, I think that's a decent sunset. Let's see what she does next. Alright, I'm going to dry this real fast. Okay, and then I'm going to get some brown. And start working on my trees. And I'm still going to use that same brush that I've been using since I'm using these smaller canvases. And you want your tree to go through all the layers, right? And I'm just making it thicker on the bottom. And these over here are gonna come out of this. So you can make these a little bit more dimensional. You can take different color browns, you can take black, or you can take white, and put some highlights in there. That's about the same color. Just use a white because none of those browns are really showing up. It's wider at the bottom and just tapers up into a point. Let me get a different color green. I'm gonna use a festive green, which is like a Kelly green. And then a citron green, which is like a lime green. And I'm just going to use that same brush, but you want to make some, make sure this is together. They're going to meet together at the edge, but you need to draw them to where they come out like a parentheses almost. And they can overlap, they can go off the board, the canvas. All right, and what you want to do is you're just going to take either a liner brush or the edge of your brush, and you're going to just lightly brush in little bitty strokes, paint strokes that go down. They're coming off of the little branch thing that you just made, and they're kind of rounded too. So if it's on this side, they're coming down here. If it's on this side, like this is over here, so you're going to start putting it down this way. this to all of them. There is an easier way to do this if you have a fan brush, but I didn't tell you guys to get a fan brush. You can just dip the fan brush in the paint and just drag it down, like put it, I don't know, I'll have to show you. And they're not all the same length. Stop her. I'm gonna go back with some of the lighter and put some in. If you want them darker, you can mix with black or even brown. Since we already have brown in here, it'll just kind of mix in. And if you use that citron green, that lime green, either with it or like go back after it dries a little bit, it'll just give it some dimension. Make it look a tad bit more realistic. Just always follow the shape of the original branch. Definitely gives it some highlight, gives it a different look when you go back and add that. Makes it look better for sure. Okay, then you're going to put some little grass around the base. Using the same color green. My brown's still wet. I'm gonna drag through it right now. a few little spots of grass in there on both sides. I'm going to go back since this is dry and put a little more white highlights on it. Still using that same brush. Just barely touching the canvas. And you can put a little white in your tree branch if you want. Wouldn't put a ton, just here and there. Alright, now you're going to go back to your brown. And we're going to start putting in our little fence post things. And I'm going to change brushes. I think a flat brush will be easier right here. So just get a flat brush that's the size of what you want your little doodads to be. Whatever they're called. And you're just gonna alternate, not really alternate. You're like one's here and then the next one is a little bit over and you're starting about halfway down. And then you just keep doing that. Alright, I'm going to take a little liner brush and put a little highlight on these. I'm using the same color I used for the sand. And then I'm going to get back in there in the brown. And draw the little line through there. And you want a little grass around each one. And I'm gonna take this white liner brush and kind of make some lines in my water that are kind of random. Just lay down some wavy lines. And then take some brown and some of that sand color and put a little some this is your path. So it's smaller at the top and it gets wider. And you can still put a few little marks in the sand. And I think that's about it, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Next time, let's see, it comes apart, so you could have one, or two. Next week we are painting the Love Blooms, the flowers. I meant to bring it in here so I could show you. That one has a tracer and it has very few colors. I think that you might already have them all. I will get that posted really soon, and when you get done painting this, post your pictures and let us all see it. Y'all have a good day.